Greetings, sweet dear ones, sweet dearly beloveds. Welcome to HUNAFLASHTV. It's an honor to be here with our special guests. And if you have questions, we'll do our best to answer them. This is live and interactive. HUNAFLASHTV at the House of HUNA. Welcome to you all, and we look forward to being with you here. Enjoy. Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to HUNAFLASHTV, and looking forward to a wonderful session here, a wonderful chat with my good friend, amigo, Charlie Ward, will be popping in here any second now. Just to remind you, of course, we've got live and interactive, and just a reminder, if you want an answer to your question, you have to show yourself. Okay, you have to reveal yourself. So if you want to answer to your question, you have to come onto the screen and we'll send you a link. Okay, so you can shoot in a comment, or we will put the link in into the main comment section there, and you can visit with us here. So without further ado, let me bring on my good friend Charlie. Hi, Charlie.
Hi, HUNA. How are you?
Very good, sir. Very good.
Fantastic. Nice to see you again. It's been a while since we were in Mexico.
Yeah, it seems like things are flying by so quickly, Charlie.
Isn't it just?
It's incredible.
For those people who claim that nothing's happening, of course, it's all happening now, and it's all happening right in front of their eyes.
Absolutely. You know, you've been doing a lot of work for a number of years, and we've been some follow you religiously. There may be some on here in this channel that are just getting to learn you and understand you. Of course, there's always so many. You get so many comments in either direction, positive or negative, of all the things you're doing. So I would like to begin this wonderful day. Actually, it's a beautiful day here in Mexico. I'd like to be, and I hope it is also in Spain as well. And I'd like to begin this little journey that you and I are going to take with our wonderful guest, with our wonderful audience here. Beginning, if I can, invite you to share about your spiritual journey. I know you had spoken about how things were growing up, and so. I don't know a whole lot about it. So if I could invite you to share a bit about your spiritual journey and introduce yourself a little more here.
Sure, certainly. Well, I was born and brought up 62 years ago now in a religious cult called the Plymouth Brethren. There's about 40 or 50,000 of them worldwide. They tend to regard themselves as the elite. That's how they've always regarded themselves. They're very, very insular, very isolated. Their teaching is very similar to Baptist teaching. However, that they are very, very controlling over and above that. And my journey was that I had an arranged marriage when I was 19 years old. I had three children by the age of 22, 23. 22, I think it was when my youngest was born. And by the age of 23, I was asking questions that weren't being answered. And it was always very easy for them to respond. Every time I challenged anything, it was just a question of having faith. Now, faith is a wonderful thing. But as I've said many times on this journey, if it looks like shit and smells like shit, it's probably shit. And the one thing with the truth is it sticks out like a sore thumb right now.
Right.
So when people tell you, oh, just have faith, trust me, Charlie, I question those people, and I'm glad I did, because what we're living in right now, the government are saying, trust me. Big Pharma are saying, trust me. And of course, I've stood up and challenged it. There's a lot of haters out there who hate the fact that I don't just shut up and go away and stop challenging these people who I feel need to be challenged. So when I came out of the religious cult in 1983, I didn't know what was right and what was wrong. My parents disowned me, and I didn't have any friends. I didn't know anybody outside of it, so it was brand new for me. I went into a public house for the first time and asked for a beer, and found out there was more than one type. Yeah, so it was a bit of a shock. You know, there was bitter, there was stout, there was lager, there were all different types. And I was like, really? And yet, from the age of 12, I was drinking whiskey, which was encouraged in the religion, which made no sense at all.
Right.
So I lost my way, and within 2 years, I was in prison for basically getting in with the wrong people and taking bad advice. So, look, I sympathise with everyone today that's taken bad advice, because I didn't know what was the truth and what was not. And when you come out of an environment which is an echo chamber, which everybody at the moment is coming out of, and the echo chamber is mainstream media, television, news. When you come outside of that, you don't know where to look for the truth. So my journey was incredible as I started to learn and started to learn the difference between what was right and what was wrong. And I made a lot of mistakes in my 20s and 30s and 40s and even 50s. And I got into the business, well, I was in the business for most of my life of exchanging currency. And when I retired at the age of 40 from mainstream work, I kept as a sideline exchanging money, currency. But this wasn't just for tourists that were coming on holiday, that I had that sort of business. It was for people that had cash that wanted to put it into the bank. And suddenly, 20 years ago, the amounts started to get larger. And then 15 years ago, they got an awful lot larger. And when I say an awful lot larger, I was talking about tens and hundreds of millions rather than just a few hundreds of thousands. And we would take the money and we'd put it in cash into the bank. And probably 3-4 years ago, I was one of the only people on the planet that could actually bank 50 million in a day without any questions.
Wow.
There's not many people who can do that. Not that I know of. There's a lot of people who talk that they can do it, but there's not many that can actually do it.
Right.
And I was traveling to Africa an awful lot, picking up these vast sums of cash. And it was all very neatly packed and everything else. And then I went out there in the middle of 2019, and I was confronted with a package of $1.8 billion.
Whoa.
In metal boxes of 25 million per box. But they all had stamps on the end, some for UNICEF and some for the International Red Cross. Wow. And then I realized that these dirty politicians were stealing good money that was given to charity for the children of Africa. And it crossed a red line with me. And I just said, no, not going to do it.
Wow.
And I got into a bit of an altercation with one of the big black fellas over there. And I basically put my nose against his nose and said, take me to the airport, get me out of here.
Wow. Yeah.
And yes, I was a little bit scared, not a lot, but enough to for him to see that I was angry with him. And he very kindly took me to the airport and dropped me off. And as I walked into the airport, I bumped into somebody I knew who was an ambassador, US ambassador. And I said, what are you doing here? And he looked at me, he said, I just wanted to see if you'd touch the dirty stuff.
Whoa.
So they were testing me. And I passed the test, and he just said to me, expect a phone call in 4 weeks, within the next 4 weeks. Well, 4 weeks the day I got a phone call from somebody saying, look, we've been watching you for 10 years now, and you've been working for us without knowing it. And we want you to leave what you're doing there and work with us on the inside. I said, okay. And we talked a lot more that stuff I can't talk about. And I got the phone call to basically to do. My wife was over the moon because she did not like the fact I was traveling on private jets with vast sums of money. She didn't like that at all. So she was very happy. And so from that day to this, in fact, in 2019, he'd said to me twice before, which had no value in my thought process, we're going to shut down the world's economy for a global financial reset. That was 12 years ago. And then 7-8 years ago, he told me the same. But in November 19, he said, we're going to do it next year, Charlie. We're going to shut down the world's economy for a global financial reset. And I was like, how are you going to do it? He said, wait and see. And then, of course, when the virus came out of Wuhan, I phoned him up and I said, do you think you can shut down the world's economy with a virus? He said, Charlie, it's not even that funny. He said, it's not even a real one. It's a fake one. He said, but we've got a big plan to back it up. He said, we've got a vaccine to follow it, and then we've got 5G, and then we've got riots, and then we've got alien invasion, all planned, all to back it up. But they'll collapse the world's economy. So I started doing my walks in March of 2020, saying to people, do not buy into this fact or this published fact by the mainstream media that there's a virus out there to kill you. This is to shut down the world's economy. This is scaremongery. This is what it is. I started telling people, and I had 37 followers in March 2020. By April, I had 1,000. By May, I had 10,000. By June, I had 100,000. By July, I had 250,000. And they took me off YouTube. They shut me down.
Right.
They shut down my Facebook. They shut down my Instagram. They shut down my Twitter. They shut down everything. And I just turned around to Lee, who was working with me at the time, promoting it on Facebook and on YouTube, and said, set up my own channel. Forget them. We can do this by ourselves. And Lee said, no, but we need them. I said, no, forget them. Right. We need it. We'll do it ourselves. And we set up drcharlieward.com with Lee, myself, and a guy called Jimmy in America. And within a month, we had 1 million followers on my own platform.
Amazing. Yes.
And at that time, the numbers grew 1 million, 2 million, 4 million, 6 million, 8 million, 10 million. We went up to 18 million.
Holy cow.
Within 12 months.
I mean, cows are holy, but wow.
Yeah. And then Jimmy and I had a fallout. Something went on that I wasn't happy about. So we terminated our business and we had to shut down the website, drcharlieward.com. And we set up a new one, charlieward.tv. So we started over again. And thankfully, the 18.5 million followers we had came across and found us. It took 4 weeks to find us. Because we were shadow banned and everything else. And charlieward.tv came along. We set that up. And it's very interesting because Lee Hemington, who was working for me at the time, I don't think he'll mind me saying this because this is part of what we're talking about. His mother was a Maori.
Right.
And as a very spiritual lady. And he always thought she was mad. And yeah, and I was talking to one of the spiritual people that guide me on this journey, and she said to me, a lady called Didi Panasar, Indian lady. She said to me, Charlie, you know that that Lee is reptilian. And I said, well, I don't really care because I like him. He's a good lad. He's a good lad. And we worked together. And then suddenly, HUNA, about 6-8 weeks later, we were talking on the phone and there was a complete difference in Lee's attitude. And I don't know what it was. So I phoned up Didi and I said, Didi, something has happened with Lee. Can you tell me what it is? And she said, oh, yeah, I can see. She said, he was chipped at birth. He's flipped over. He's flipped over. He was chipped. Whatever that means. I don't know what it means.
Yeah, they popped something in you. Yeah.
Yep. And then suddenly from that day forward to this, he and I have been on a spiritual journey, which will help every single person that's watching this, because the one thing I've learned on this journey, these people have been used to trusting what they call the professionals, the news, the mainstream media, big pharma, big tech. They've trusted them like I did. And people say to me, why should I trust you, Charlie, over against the professionals? And I say to them, I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to trust you. And HUNA Flash is a sort of person who can get you to connect to what's within you. And that's the important thing, because you've got all the answers within you. You don't need to ask Alexa. You don't need to ask Siri or Google. You need to go within yourself and find the answers there and connect with your higher self. So Lee and I have both gone from this being a normal journey to being a spiritual journey, where we've both grown together.
That's incredible news. I'll just drop in here really quickly, Charlie. You know, I know Lee. I've met Lee with HUNA Mareka with David.
Yeah.
And we've done some things together. We've excuse me, we've spent some breakfasts and lunches together, and we've talked. And Lee, you know, he's master of self-defense, you know, and incredible fighting skills. And for a while there, that's all I thought he was. You know, for a time there,
I'll stop you there. We've got the wrong Lee. That's Lee Dawson. I was referring to Lee Hemington before we get mixed up. Sorry. No, that's okay. No problem at all. That's Lee Dawson. You're right. But Lee Dawson is also growing spiritually. But Lee Hemington was the one that I was referring to.
Well, thank you for straightening that out for me. I would have gone in another direction. Okay.
Exactly.
Please continue. Yeah.
No, that's good. So yeah, Lee Hemington runs my social media. He basically when I was on Facebook, contacted me and said, I love what you're doing, but you haven't got a clue what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I hadn't got a clue, and he's just guided me very, very well. And but the spiritual journey, I'll tell anybody right now, I grew up in this religious cult, and the reason I mention that is I grew up having a religious education, and that's what it was. It was religious. It wasn't spiritual. I've now, if anything, I've gone anti-religion because I think it's divisive. But I think when you realize that spirituality brings us all together, it doesn't matter if you're a Christian, a Jew, a Protestant, a Catholic, a Muslim, a Sunni, a Shia. We all pray to the same God. And yes, people have different perspectives. Of course they do. That's human nature. But it's the same God. And to say my God's better than your God is just arrogance, because our God is the same God. And there's always people out there trying to divide people. But when you're connected to our God, who is the creator, who created you and me, he didn't create religion. He gave us a spirituality for us to connect to. And yes, there are those that are connected at certain spiritual levels and others at different levels. But the whole idea of religion was created by man to divide. And I've seen it. I grew up with it dividing Ireland.
Yes.
You know, Protestants and Catholics, same God, same Bible, different perspectives. So I've got to kill you. How does that make any sense?
Right. It doesn't. That absolutely doesn't. If I can jump in here while you're in that subject.
Yes.
So we've gone to this journey of the spirituality here. Yes, I recently did, myself and other HUNAs, we recently did some work at the Pergamum, which is the
Yep.
seat of Satan, as you know. We went there. We did some incredible work there. The reason why we were doing this is that we were connecting into the ancient story, the ancient wisdoms, the all of the mechanics and the pieces and the the physical aspects of what that whole mess was about and is about. And we know that we had come to learn that, of course, the seat of Satan is an occupation. It's a job description. So those that would take it on would use the tools of that occupation. Now, I know the religions were based at pretty much at the seat of the throne of Satan. That's what that, 7 religions were at the below the hill, below the mountain of the seat of Satan. So it was like Satan was overlooking everything. Or the person who would take on this occupation would be overlooking all of the religions, thereby placing and reinforcing the threat that religion had been had accompanied the religions with this threat. And that's the threat that I found that ruined religion. The threat of, you're going to hell, you don't believe in Jesus, you're going to hell, or we're going to kill you, or people on the side of the road preachers and people like this, and in Times Square, they're threatening everybody in the name of Jesus, which is, come on, this is the Christ light we're talking about. You don't threaten, you can't do any. What does it say about yourself? Now, so it's about clearing the name of the religion, so people can have their faith, but removing that threat. And these are some of the things that we did. So if I can just pop that in there to everybody who's listening, and maybe if somebody has a question to this. Now, remember, if you have a question, you have to come on to the screen. Huna Tamaki is standing by in the wings there to bring you on. If you'd like to come on and get an answer to your question. So let me just let you carry on there, Charlie, because
you made a very interesting point there, because I did a lot of study on this journey, and we talk about the fear of God. Now, if you go back into the language of Hebrew, of which it was first written, or Aramaic, the word fear means to know and understand. It doesn't mean to be scared of. And again, so many times in our lives, we've misunderstood certain things. And things have been done on purpose to deceive us. And of course, the devil, Satan, Lucifer, whatever you want to call the other side, they have to make it look more attractive than God. Otherwise, we'd never look at it. And he is the great deceiver. And this is so important that we learn what's real, we learn what's true, we learn to know and understand our Creator. And that way we'll get through this, because we know and understand the truth.
Absolutely. Knowledge and wisdom will save you. You save yourself, right? Exactly. Knowledge and wisdom, and bringing that knowledge and wisdom to very usable energies and modalities to support your community, your family, your friends, and society in a larger scale. Absolutely. Now, as we're still waiting for a question here, let's move into, if we can, touch on now whatever you can and can't, whatever you can say, Charlie, and it's up to you. I don't know what you can say in terms of this journey we're on with these. Let me say the business, the 3D journey of the business and the details that are going on.
If I go back to what I said earlier, when I said that they were going to shut down the world's economy for a global financial reset, that is what we're living in now. In March of 2020, I was unaware that there were 2 resets in play. There was the Great Reset with Klaus Schwab,
Okay,
the
yep.
New World Order, the World Economic Forum. That's one reset. And there was the Great Awakening and the QFS, the Quantum Financial System, which is a global currency reset. And again, you'll see that they've tried to make it sound the same.
Right.
They've tried to make it look more attractive with the central bank digital currency over against the quantum financial system. Now, it's very important that the people see the central bank digital currency to reject it, to turn their back against it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because what it does is it turns you into a slave and completely controls your life. And that was never God's intent. That's Satan's intent, to be a slave to sin.
Yes, absolutely.
That was what their intention was. Also, their intention was to reduce the population. They wanted to reduce the population by 95%. And this is what the jab was about.
Right.
The whole idea of the SOSE virus, which I knew from day one was a complete lie, because for two reasons. Number one, I was told.
Mm-hmm.
But number two, I know that biologically and scientifically it's impossible to transmit a virus. So the person who thought this up had to be linked with computers.
Right.
Because in a computer, a certain Bill Gates created Microsoft, and he created an incredible computer. The trouble was it never went wrong. So once people bought it, they got it for life. So the only way that he could make any money was by creating something that made your computer get into trouble. So he created what he called a virus.
Mm-hmm.
And this virus came into your computer, and it could spread through your computer and do damage to your computer. And then, as if by magic, he created an antivirus.
Right. I think in for the general public in the globe in general, all computer people who were getting computers back in the 90s, like 95, Windows 95, right? Microsoft Windows 95. He started introducing that. Am I right?
That's correct. That's correct. And of course, we cannot transmit germs. In fact, if you look inside your mouth, there's about 40 million germs. We're made up, viruses. We're made of viruses. That's what we're made of. Sorry. And the reason germs is a different matter.
Absolutely.
Germs we're not scared of because we know about them. And you can transmit germs.
Right.
But we're not scared of germs. But we are scared of viruses because of the psyche of the computer.
Absolutely.
So when they started using the word, there's a virus out there that's a crown virus.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, really? Really? You go that far? And then you find it out it's called COVID, which is we have the patent for that, certification of vaccination identification. 19 is AI, artificial intelligence. It's all there in black and white. It was patented in the Pirbright Institute in 2015, and then upgraded in 2018, and then it was sent out to Wuhan and produced there in Wuhan in the Institute of Virology. Very, very clear. There's a paper trail the whole way, and then suddenly it gets mass produced in. Could you make this up? Ukraine.
Yeah.
I mean, really. So these are all things that around 15,000 hours of research have revealed. It's not just a shot in the dark. There's a lot of research gone into this.
So all of our American audience here, please, all you taxpayers, you guys know what's going on with your taxes and all your resources that the Biden administration has been sending to Ukraine, but they've been doing it for years. Yeah, carry on, Charlie.
You've hit a very, very important point, and I asked this of a gentleman the other day. Why are you paying tax? And he said, because you have to. I said, no, you don't. Right. I said, they'll tell you have to. But I said, answer me this question. If they can print as much money as they want without question to defend a country that has nothing to do with you, why couldn't they printed the same amount of money to cover all your taxes so you don't pay it? Just a simple question.
Exactly. It's supporting their nefarious activities against humanity, of course.
Of course it is.
And that's
and on top of that, enslaving the people.
That's their intention. Absolutely right, Charlie. So let me, if I can, and in a little bit of a, let me speak to a little bit of a journey of these topics and connect it to, if I may, connect to the energy of this planet as a being. This planet, just like you and I are sitting here, this planet is here. And if I could, for our audience as well, if you have questions, please let us know. And I'd like to connect it to all of these energies that are now coming through at this time, supporting the planet as a being. Yeah, and what you have committed to be doing in your missions to support humanity supports this planet, but certainly supports the planet as a being. Everybody here, this whole audience, everybody, any small grain of highest intention has a powerful effect and supports the planet in a hugely powerful way of infinite source power. Even your smallest grain or fractal of your highest intentions. We like to say first fire, which is you fueling the fire from your word. Now, I would like to start just kind of revealing a trajectory of energies and the way it's moving through society from your good word, Charlie, and your good works and everyone's good works, and connecting it to this planet, which is this planet has broken out of the matrix. Right now, I can say matrix, but just really quickly, everything is a matrix, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. Everything is a matrix. There are highest intentions and there are the lowest intentions. There are, nefarious actions and there are benevolent actions. Everything is a matrix. Everything has an operating system that supports the intention. The same way energy supports your highest vibration, it can also support someone's lowest intentions. Okay, let's just be very clear about that, because this is nature. This is the working with nature, working with the energies, working with source energy. Now, of course, you stand on the highest intentions. So let me just when we came into January, as you know it as January, and as you may know, myself and the House of HUNA operates from the Lemurian calendar. From the Lemurian calendar. I am going to show an image just briefly and just let it sit there for a moment before I carry on with it. Do you mind if I can do that?
No, by all means.
I want to share this image and I will speak to it. Okay. All right. Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, let me blow it up. Okay, what do we have here? Oops, that's not what I meant to do. We get this down in the bottom, the one on the left. Okay, this, Charlie, this illustration we just recently created, coming from source coding of Lemuria. This is a Trinity system that supports the superintelligence of nature, its complexities aligned to the highest intentions of humanity. And this is a system that supports the breaking out of the matrix, the cracking, if you will. This one on the left is this is called Wataka, which means operating system. It doesn't mean calendar. We don't say calendar now in the Lemurian. In the Maori, we typically would say Wataka, and the things that support your light during the day and in the evening. On the left here is called it works to help transmute and it's the transmutation codes.
Mm-hmm.
These are transmutation codes, undoing, not reversing, Charlie, undoing what doesn't serve you or the highest.
Mm-hmm.
These are the Christ crystal, Christ light codes of the Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely in their highest intentions to support your infinite and unlimited creativity and imagination. What it does, the blue and the red in the middle there,
Mm-hmm.
those are the blue is the masculine code, the reds are the feminine codes.
Mm-hmm.
When you're working and just being with these codes, and there's a languaging that goes with it, you are converging balance into your light frequencies. So there is healing within that. So it's a convergence of the masculine, of the polarities into one unified field, that which you are, one unified energy of both polarities.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the in the green, it has the days of the week in English, but they are transmuted by the light of days spoken in the Lemurian language, which is a light language. So it's decoding the distortions of the days. It's decoding the scope of horrors. Let me
Yeah.
say, it's decoding the manipulation of the days. We used to call it years ago when I first started bringing these codes through. And then in the orange, we have in the orange circle, it has the light codes, frequencies of light codes, and throughout each of the uh, which were days now become moments. Okay, days turn into moments, and those moments of light energy. Why do I say that it's going from days to a moment? Because there's no such thing as days, and there is no such thing as months.
Mm-hmm.
These were all formed by those ones who wanted to bring a nefarious and malevolent manipulation into humanity to enslave them.
Yeah.
Those are enslavement codes,
Mm-hmm.
okay, created by emperors, Caesars, and people like this, gods of war.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this system helps to undo all of that and break out of what we know as what we've been used to, which is the draconian system.
Yeah.
Okay, the Gregorian, the Julian, the Adam calendar, all of it is part of the draconian system created by, our brothers and sisters of the star nations of the Anunnaki. Though we may have a gripe with them, they're still all part of the creation, and also the Archon essences and expressions, as well as the Ashkenazi and the Khazarian systems that were brought through the families, or were actually incarnated into the families, so the families were guaranteed to bring and contain and continue with the system in
Mm-hmm.
our societies. And then that means hoarding all of the energies, financial energies, hoarding all the resources, stealing all the children, taking all of the life fluids and life force energy from men, women, and children, grandmothers and grandfathers, every little bit of high quality energy that they could suck out of off the planet into their own manipulation agendas. So there's I'm just kind of touching on it, and at the center of this Wataka, you will see the crystal, the primary crystal. Some would, of course, recognize it as David, Star of David. But let me just share that this is a lot more ancient than David and even the language of David. So this is far more ancient than, and I will give you a number where I put it at, and I will give you a location of where I put that. I put this system of Lemuria 600 million years in the human experience. 600 million. That is 600 million years before Atlantis. Okay, so when we're coming from breaking out of the matrix, you're breaking out of the draconian systems which infected Atlantis, and we have to go and undo it and go back before it. It's not really a reversing. It's going to a moment before that all happened, when we were in the golden age, which we know was during Lemurian times. There were 4 of them. So we can pick a few golden moments where we are returning to where the Christ light, crystal Christ light was pure. We can still access that now. I mean, even people still access it in their ways and their meditations and these things. That's fine. But there's some that still struggle with it. And that is why the system was brought forward. Now, as I was talking about your work and everybody's benevolent work and high intention work traveling through these last coming into this, let's just say, moment, which is a new year for some. For me, it is a moment in Lemuria, and in January, the birth sign for January in Lemuria is the hare, which is like a big rabbit, right? And as you know, we are going into, they also speak of the short count calendar or the Asian calendar, which is in the year of the rabbit, right?
Yeah.
Now, we know that just recently Citibank is offering 6 levels of deposits that carry a gift with those levels. And those gifts that are being offered, and you probably know this, was a golden rabbit.
Yeah,
That golden rabbit, of course, we know that it is being gifted by the Chinese dragons, the elders, of which I let everybody know I do have an association of sorts with the dragon families. And so when I saw that, I'm like, okay, yes, it's in alignment with the Lemurian Wataka system, calendar system for just for translation sake.
Yeah.
That the hare, that rabbit is on the move. The hare is on the move. And because it's on the move, we're going to come into the next month, which is February. And most would think that is Aquarius in the Draconian. In the Lemurian, this is the hummingbird birth sign. Okay. Yeah. Now, it's my birthday next week, Charlie.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. I will let you all know I am going to be 59. I've been saying 60, but there's not much difference because the Lemurian calendar is 6 months ahead.
Yeah.
So I am in the Lemurian calendar 60 already. But the point is, the hare is on the move. The energy is moving.
Yeah.
And here's this period for the next 9 moments from January to September. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is why I'm saying that the solar flash is going to happen in September, because that's the spring where the dove, where the birth sign of the dove is located in the month of September, but it's actually referring to the moment which is Namu Motu, a moment and an energy that is located in that position from the rotation of this planet at that specific moment where the energy will build up and come into a birthing stage. Right? There's a 9-month gestation period, if you like, or just this building up of energy over that period. Right? But for translation's sake, 9 months gestation period for this planet, for the planet itself. And I'm not talking about what's in your consciousness and what's in your field, everybody's energetic field. I'm talking about the planet's gestation period itself as it's rising and ascending into its full birthing of energy to become fully detached, Charlie.
Well, these are all things that we need to join up the dots.
Yeah.
And this is very, very constructive for people who are saying, when's it going to happen? When's this going to happen?
Right.
This is so important that people understand this, that it'll happen at the right time. But when you join up the dots, we hear things.
Right.
This is so important on this journey because everything has to be in alignment. Because if we transition from darkness into light, they're making sure there's no mistakes. So it'll be in the perfect timing of everything to do with the planet. It's so important.
Absolutely. So as I was sharing that, moving towards this, and people are asking, well, what calendar should we go by? And this is what I'm inviting you to go by, the Lemurian system. It is aligned to the benevolent energies. It is aligned to the infinite and unlimited spiraling of rotation of energy that the one who is undiscovered to be discovered, yet to be undiscovered then again, as you are always discovering yourself. And that's what this system supports, and it always has. It's always been here. Okay, this aligned to the crystal Christ light of. You can name all the masters and teachers that have been. They are aligned to the creation of life, in which this calendar is aligned to. Okay, there's I'm trying to fit a lot of things into this short moment here.
You're right.
But,
You're absolutely
the
right.
audience there is somewhere to go, ladies and gentlemen, and the audience. There is somewhere to go on this now. There's much more to learn from it, but as we are coming to September, that's where I am placing the moment when the actual solar flash is going to happen. There is a clue. There is a clue that is about to come out that on the 31st, in the evening of the 31st, going into the 1st of February, into the hummingbird birth sign, there is a blue comet that's coming through our system. It's one that I've seen many years ago, or connected to other parts of it many years ago, but it's coming through and it's revealing an energy and a support system for the planet. That's coming only in a couple of days.
Wow.
And it's a blue ray comet. Let me just say again, it's a blue ray. We speak as the blue order, but it is a starship of planet engineers, in other words. Planet engineers, these are benevolent beings that are not coming to invade the planet. Every time you see a comet of sorts, it's sending blessings of energies to the planet. And they used to say, oh, we're just flying by, we're sending a blessing in. And we get these messages over many years as the work we do as shamans to connect to these things. And that's going to happen in a couple of days. And so the gestation period for planet, and I refer to this planet now as planet Matea, which is the ascended Gaia. Matea means the planet of new light. And you can say that in any language you like. I will share it in Lemurian, which Matea. And so Matea is going to be fully birthed, and I would say, and I'm sharing in September, fully energized, fully detached from the manipulation codes, and on her way to really taking us to new heights. And what you've been doing, Charlie, and all of the truth is in the world. All the light workers, all the shamans. Remember what the Dalai Lama said, whether you like them or not. He said, we need all the healers, shamans, and light workers and spiritual people in the world right now. They are the most important at this time. Or the rainbow warriors. That's which you are, Charlie. You've been an incredible warrior throughout these times, and we've been following you, and we are grateful for you, for the work you do, and everyone here. And so, as I'm sharing about Matea going to this energy, we certainly have been supporting the planet. We certainly have been supporting humanity, and these are some of the points that I often talk about on my channel. I share within the courses that I have, the understandings and the knowledge and the wisdom of Lemuria through this system, and how it's aligned to what you've been doing, Charlie. So you're right on the mark, we're just right on it, right on top of it. Even if there's dates here and there, it doesn't really matter. But there are moments, and those moments have a ton of energy behind them. And when you track those moments, you can put things together like the puzzle, and you can connect to those energies, and they will revitalize you, or you're going to revitalize them. Okay, the planet, each other, the family, the communities. And so I wanted to, that was one of my most important sharings, I think, today, that I wanted to share with you and honor you and recognize the work you're doing. And so if anybody has questions about the system, please remember, if you want to answer to your question, you have to come on and show your face now. This is all about seeing each other. We see each other. I see you, you see me. Okay. Now let us see you with the full optics of our 9 senses. 9 senses. Come on in, ask your questions. Invite you to now, if we can move to, Charlie, a bit about the future, and how, where do you go now that we've got everything settled and it's on its way? You've got humanitarian projects, as myself, as well as many here. would you like to share some of those future missions with us?
Yeah, look, the most important thing is as we move out of a world of enslavement, um, and it will probably start by the first thing that people will notice is they stop paying tax because the IRS is being dismantled, the Inland Revenue is being dismantled. These organisations are corrupt and immoral. I haven't paid tax for 38 years of any kind.
Nice.
Because I detached myself from the system. And a lot of people were saying, oh, you had to. Now I see why God put me on this journey. He showed me the way. He showed me the way early on. I wasn't necessarily ready at that stage to understand why, but I certainly do now. The fact, and it's very interesting that those people that were so say my friends, now they've been proven that I was right and they were wrong about COVID and about the jab. It's very interesting that they are now attacking on different fronts because they've lost that one and they're embarrassed. And when somebody's embarrassed, they do silly things. We came under a huge attack the other day from somebody that we would class as a friend, out of complete and utter jealousy. But I've learned, look, in the old days, I would have bitten. I would have had a go.
Right.
But now I just sit back and just watch what happens. There's so much going on now as we escape the matrix and learn to be more caring for other people. It's, everybody talks about humanity as like saving Africa and saving different parts of Africa.
Right.
The first thing you need to save is your neighbor. Start at home.
Yep.
Down the road, the little old lady that needs a wheelchair, that needs a slope, that needs her windows cleaning. And there's always people who go, well, I can't help humanity just yet because I've got no money.
Right.
I disagree. I've watched people who've got no money, and what they've done is they've dedicated their time. And when they've dedicated their time, God has looked after their finances. And
so we continue in the future, absolutely, funds or no funds, we continue with the spiritual missions of just in the simple ways helping each other. Exactly.
Yeah. And even just smiling at somebody in the street can make their day, especially a lonely old person. Just a smile and a good morning, good afternoon in whatever language, just a nod and a smile can improve somebody's day. That's somewhere to start. Instead, the amount of people who walk around nowadays with their head down looking at their iPhone. They don't even look at anybody else.
And remember just what it felt like during those 2 years of the manipulation of and locking down, what that felt like. We were, I think, missing each other. I think we all missed each other. I call it the muki muki, Charlie. I call it the muki muki. Just in the Maori language, it's called the muki muki or muki, which means the yearning and the missing of and the desire to see the loved ones, friends, and family. Yes, we went through the muki muki.
The sad thing is with Spain, they used to be a very tactile country that hugged everybody, kissed the Dutch kissed 3 times, but they'd certainly give each other a kiss on both cheeks and give each other a hug. And that was taken away from them for 2 years, and they distanced themselves from each other on the street. And now they're finding it difficult to get back together again. And it's sad because they've got this thing in their mind. Oh, I could give them a virus. No, you can't. You can't give them any such thing. Go back to the old days of when you got a cold, stay indoors, wrap up warm, hot bath, towel, and rest, and lemon and honey. Simple things.
Absolutely. So wrap the towel over you and do a steam of eucalyptus. Eucalyptus,
amazing.
Yes,
but you can't be doing that because that costs nothing. And the trouble is nobody makes any money out of that. So you can't be doing that. We got to ban that. We got to ban vitamin C because it makes you better and it's cheap. Ban oranges, ban lemons. I mean, this is how evil these people are.
Yeah, I mean, just those items are simple, and someone is also mentioning, connecting. Let me just say, Lemuria is an essence, and the actual essence of Lemuria it can be spoken in another sound, which is Kimuria, which refers to the essence of, oh, you're back. Good to see you again. Give me a hug. Give me a hug.
Yeah.
And it is the hug. Lemuria, Kimuria is about the embrace. Okay, so
I seem to remember giving you a hug in Spain in the middle of the social distancing crisis. It didn't affect us, did it, HUNA?
No, I didn't know at all.
It made us closer together. It didn't give us any unknown diseases of any kind.
I was trying to get closer to the cop who was yelling at me in Madrid airport. I was trying to get closer to him to hug him, and he kept putting it up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. That is the future missions, ladies and gentlemen, Hunas and Hunettes, if I can say that.
Yeah.
Is to continue just in the small ways with each other. Of course, it's going to be incredible if we can. Is there anything we can say, Charlie, towards our the global reevaluation of things and the Jasara? Because I mean, when we do have all of these revealed to us and we get them into our systems and our financial systems of the quantumness, it's just going to be an explosion of liberation, opportunity, and so much love and so many hugs for everybody. That's what I feel about it.
I have to be careful for two reasons of what I say. Number one, because of my NDA, non-disclosure agreement. And number two, General Flynn has said that if we give them too much positive information, people just go back to sleep. And we need people to stand up for their rights because they're a God-given right. And if you don't stand up for them, they'll be taken away from you. Things are going to be amazing. The war will be won, but we need every single person with us, not people sat at the back with their feet up doing nothing. We need everybody standing up for their rights, standing up for their freedoms, and then this will happen a lot quicker.
Fantastic. Absolutely. Now, I know you were speaking about your YouTube channel and it was being shut down and stuff. I have to say, I don't know what happened. Maybe I do know what happened, but my YouTube channel has never been shut down. And I have spoken the words that are not supposed to be spoken all over my YouTube channel. I've had, you're on my channel. David, Huna Mareka's on my channel. Janine's have been on everyone who's been, for the last couple of years been on my channel, never got shut down. I don't understand it. In a way, I kind of do.
Yeah.
I think that it's of course, a vibration, a frequency. We're fooled. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a way to fool the algorithms. There is a way to fool, to confuse, let me say, to turn the confusion back in on the system by your highest vibrations. And the things that you say are things that not everybody says. So when you say the things that are not typically said, the system doesn't know how to calculate you and navigate you. When you say the things that are not typically said, so to speak the truth in a certain way where we are not fighting. We are not fighting. The energy is not fighting. The energy is all embracing and all encompassing and allowing. We do have responsibility and accountability to each other. Yes, Charlie, we do. And as well as allowing everyone to have their say. But I will share with you, and I've been experiencing this. It's been on my mind for a while, how the vibration and the frequency is confusing the AI systems and confusing the technology to work in my favor. Certainly can work in your favor, and your high vibration will always work in your favor. And someone just spoke earlier today about how they're starting to, they call it catchphrasing, capture. They call it capture, where the algorithms are looking for a certain phrase that you say.
Hmm.
Let's just say, if you said the word, they are they are they are dying from so and so, you could, instead of saying they are dying, you could say they are unliving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just switching it around, saying the things in the way that nobody says things.
Hmm.
And there's truth in that still. There is still a lot of truth in it and a lot of energy. I want to give you the final word, Charlie. It's we're up to an hour now, and I would like to invite you to enjoy the rest of your evening and your day there. I know it's a beautiful evening in Spain.
Yeah, it is. I would just reach out to everybody who's watching here. And the first step in the major growth that I've grown over the past year was to understand that God is our creator and God made us in his own image. So God has made us all creators. And all I would encourage every person that's here to do is become creative. Because if you want a better future, create it. If you don't give a shit, then you'll have to put up with what you're given because somebody else will create it for you.
Well said, Charlie. Um, Thank you so much. If anybody has a question, you better get in now because we're going to head on out of here in a second. Okay.
Well, HUNA, it's been a real pleasure talking to you, buddy. It's always good to see you.
Thank you, sir. I'm honored that you joined me on my new channel, HUNAFLASH TV, and hope to
Definitely.
jump in with you again, maybe somewhere along the line down the road here. Perhaps we can celebrate on a call together as things begin to explode out and liberation, opportunity, and creativity becomes abound with everyone.
Good man. God bless you.
God bless you, sir. God bless you, Charlie. Thank you so much, everybody. Sweet, sweet, dear ones, sweet, dearly beloveds, as you are, as you know, I always say that. Thank you for joining us here today. It's been an incredible sharing. Is just a big hug. It's been a big hug today. On this day of the Unrasa, which means the 0 point, the light of the 0 point, there are 0 point archetype meaning total peace. Okay, so thank you for this wonderful hug today, Charlie, and
God bless.
everybody else. And we will see you again. I will share this link with you, the video with you, Charlie, with your team. Just let me know where to send it.
Cheers.
Okay, thank you. Bye, everyone.